Hey everyone, welcome to another edition of the Daily Bullet. My name is Paul Lathrop. I'm the Deputy Director of New Media for the Second Amendment Foundation. Joining me today again, Amanda Suffecool, good friend, awesome person, commentator here on the show. Amanda, thank you for coming and joining us today.
Thanks for calling me a potato.
Calling you a potato?
Commentator.
Got it. All right.
Come on. Those are like my vintage jokes from my father.
All right. Again, slow news day today. Not a ton going on, but I do want to talk about this article from Bow Hunting Mag that you sent me. Looks like Oregon may really be stepping in it. This one isn't necessarily Second Amendment rights, although if this happens, hunting is gone.
Yeah, it starts with hunting, so it's Second Amendment rights right up there. Yeah, so the headline from Bow Hunting magazine was Oregon bills gathering signatures to seek the end of hunting. And so it's IP 13, and it wants to make Oregon a sanctuary state for animals. So, I mean, when they roll out a sanctuary state for animals, you're like, oh, that's so nice. You know, nobody wants people to be mean to animals. Well, it means you can't be mean to animals you can't hunt them. I mean, practically you can't eat them. So it really has a whole lot of pieces to it.
It's got pieces, all right.
But I think that when they start to get the petition, because the petition does not need a ton of signatures. They only need 112,000 valid signatures to be eligible for the November 2020 ballot.
2022, yeah.
So, 2022, I'm sorry. So, the 2022 ballot. So, 112,000. So, if somebody walks up to you outside the grocery store and says, there is this bill that is trying to turn our state into a sanctuary state because of cruelty to animals, and we want to stop. We want to make a statement that says that Oregon is not cruel to animals. Will you sign it? What are you going to do? That's all you're going to hear as the statement. Think about when people meet you at the grocery store or meet you outside the box store and say, I've got this petition, will you sign it? You only get that kind of a thing, a sentence or two, to make a decision, and that's not really what this is. So the amount of money that pro-gun people would have to spend to counter market this is going to be huge if they don't nip it in the bud now.
Well, not only that, it would ban you would not be able to do ranching, what most people do for ranching. You would not be able to do a modern dairy farm, because they wouldn't allow animal husbandry. A modern dairy farm would not be allowed in Oregon anymore. Here's
the line, because I think it turns Oregon into vegetarians. IP 13 would prohibit the injuring and killing of all mammals, fish, reptiles, amphibians, unless it occurs in the act of self-defense. So you pretty much don't put a cow into a burger on a plate as self-defense.
If I don't eat it, I'm going to starve to death.
You're getting salad, buddy. You're getting salad. So, and we all know what you think of that. But so when you really look at this, it's just got all these things that go along with it. So it's going to prohibit hunting. It's going to prohibit fishing, and yeah. So, here's the other point I wanted to make. Think about what it will do to Oregon's economy, because second only to greenhouse growing to ship plants to other states in the union, cows and cattle, so cows and calves, are their top producing thing in Oregon.
Mm-hmm.
Howdy, Michael.
And what do cows and cattle eat? Hay, which is, I think, in 3 or 4 of the top agricultural products in Oregon. So.
Right. So it will decimate the farms, the farmers, and there's I think they said 38,000 farms and farmers in Oregon with active classified farms, not small farms, or I grow hay for my own cows, I grow my own cows for my own freezer, I grow cows for my friend's freezer. Those aren't counted as the farms.
I want to get a couple more. Susan Myers has a great comment here. Susan says, so artificial insemination would be sexual assault then? I'm sure it would be, yes.
Could be. And then the second thing is why are you growing more cows if you're not going to be able to harvest them? You're just going to have them. They'll just be big brown pets.
Yeah. Then Lloyd Scharf says, I sign everything. Oregon's vote on a referendum, not a petition.
Okay, what's that mean? So I'm not from Oregon, so what does that mean?
He means he'll sign the petition to put it on the ballot, I think is what it means. I think. And then he follows up later with, it is absurd, it will be rejected, you're not going to happen even in Oregon.
Think about the amount of dollars that are going to have to be spent in marketing to defend this.
And
that's really, yeah.
The other thing I'd like to point out is how many people work on the farms in Oregon. How many people, the people that are passing that are voting for these laws don't live in rural, they live in Portland. They live in the city. They haven't a clue as to what's going on in the rest of the state.
Right. No, it's just, so it's pay attention to this because it is, so they can start to gather the signatures now because they've gotten the approval to do that. And they have until next July to do it.
Holy, that's a lot of time to get signatures.
Yeah.
Barry wants to know, where can he get that crazy Kool-Aid they drink on the West Coast?
I don't think they all drink it. I really don't. But enough do that, I don't know. I think that part of it is that they're really creative marketing people. So they've got a persuasion, they've got an opinion, and they're able to spin it in a direction that persuades others to follow along. And so you can just sort of see how that one will go, because by making it not a Second Amendment sanctuary, but by making it an animal sanctuary state, there's so many things that we're doing as sanctuaries that marketing is gonna work. Yeah.
Diane says there will be more diseases and more car accidents from not managing wildlife. And you're hurting the wildlife from being an animal sanctuary, because starvation is a horrific way to die, and you are sentencing these animals to die from starvation and other diseases and disease when you ban hunting, when you ban harvesting. Yeah, you're yep.
Right. So the good news for the rest of the country then is, should this pass, is that you won't need your 1/50th of the Pittman-Robertson money that was $1 billion this year. So, it can go to one of the other states because Oregon won't need it, because you won't have to have hunting lands and those type of things.
Yeah, exactly. Michael, I think this is I know it's that he's saying with firmly tongue planted in cheek. What do you mean? Meat comes from behind the white wall at Walmart.
That's exactly it. We don't believe in hunting. We want our meat all nice and neat and packaged right at the grocery store, right? Because it's less cruel.
Another one from John Lloyd Sharf. You're absolutely right about this, but more people are killed by deer than sharks because of car accidents. That's absolutely true.
I live by a 25,000 acre government facility with a fence that they don't allow hunting inside it. So the amount of deer that come bounding over the fence, that there are deer on this road, I will bet you in a 10-mile stretch, there are 2 or 3 a day that you will see. And there's somebody's job to go scoop them up and take them somewhere. I don't know where they take them.
So
but
when is
they
deer
take them
season
somewhere.
at your place?
Well, if you're using a car, it's pretty much every day.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway, let's see here. Where are we at? I lost. We're getting so many great comments in. I lost where I was.
Really? Okay. Well, keep going. Pick another one.
Get this one up there. And you make all the right arguments. Oregon will not pass this nonsense since Oregon rejects most initiatives. I certainly hope they reject this one, because this one is a crock of cheese, to borrow a phrase a friend of mine likes to use.
Well, there's words you can't say on the radio. So a crock of cheese gets the message across without being offensive. Yeah. Yeah.
Raven Wolf, I love this one. If God didn't want us to eat animals, he wouldn't have made them out of meat.
They're tasty. He wouldn't have made them tasty. Yes.
Another great point by Susan. No more leather shoes, bags, or jackets either. Illegal to import a burger across the state line. I mean, either you believe or you don't. Amen.
I think the illegal to import a burger across state lines is the best line I have heard.
Excuse me, sir. Do you have a permit for that Big Mac?
Exactly. Oh, wait. It's a Big Mac. There's not really any animal involved in that one. Move on. Yeah, crazy. So, you got more on this, or are we good?
I think we've got it covered. Do we?
I have another story.
Yes, go ahead.
I have a So there is, and I didn't read where it was. So it came out of the Daily Mail. There is a convicted killer who is going to represent himself. He was a convicted murderer. He's going to represent himself as his own attorney for shooting the police officer who tried to arrest him. And so he is, what was the state? Darn it, I don't know where the state is. Orlando. So it's Florida. So this guy's last name is Lloyd, and he is currently serving a life sentence for killing his ex-girlfriend, and she was pregnant, so that was his reasoning, whatever that may be. And so when they sent the police officer to arrest him for the murder, he shot and killed the police officer. So then he was tried and convicted for his killing of the ex-girlfriend and the unborn child. And so now he's going to be his own lawyer. And I read somewhere one time that anyone who acts as their own lawyer has a fool for a client.
Charlie agrees with you.
That's exactly it. So it's like, really? What? I mean, it's not like he's already known for making grand decisions here, based on this. But will the court then allow him to have another trial when he proves that his lawyer was a jackrabbit?
Yeah.
I don't know. That's my question. That was the question that came to my mind. What do you guys think? Or do you think, is this a waste? Here's the thing. He's already serving a life sentence for killing his girlfriend and the child. So does he need a second trial? Do we need to spend the money? Should we just stop there? Or does he need to be, or is this one of those life sentences that's not really a life sentence? It's a life sentence that gives him extra time off for good behavior, because guess what? He was in jail and he didn't kill anybody else since then. I I don't know, but sometimes I just see us piling on.
Yeah, I like this comment. Capital punishment is used frequently in Florida and Texas. If you kill someone, they will kill you right back. I don't know if this is a capital case or not. I really don't. And I'm going to be very honest with you, and I'm going to shock a lot of people. I personally am against the death penalty. I don't like it. I don't think we should use it ever, because people make mistakes, and that's one area. When you execute someone, you can never, ever, ever say, oops, sorry, we're going to take that one back. I am and as somebody who's been wrongfully accused of a crime, I am 100% against the death penalty. I don't ever want to see another person executed. Keep them locked up. I mean, if you've got to, keep them in a solitary cell and bread and water 3 times a day, whatever you've got to do to keep the people that have to deal with him safe, fine. But I don't want to execute people, because if we make a mistake, that is too high of an oops to overcome. Sorry for rambling on, Amanda.
No, you can have that opinion. I mean, everybody has an opinion. I disagree, because I think that there are some cases that are so clear-cut and so egregious that those people do not deserve to be on this planet breathing air. And the victims and the victims' families need to be able to know that they're not on this earth. I mean, there's another story that came over about a woman who shot her husband. Multiple things about where she tried to stage it to. She was going to stage it to have him arrested and make him look like he was guilty of dealing drugs. She killed him, shot him, killed him, and then she couldn't lift him to get him out of their apartment, so she chopped him up with an axe, and then she made his children carry him downstairs and put him in the car.
Oh.
Here, help me clean up Daddy and get him out of the apartment. So yeah. I think that what she just did to not only the person that she killed and his family, but what she just did mentally to those children for the rest of their life. It's that. Those are the cases where it's like, yeah. We can disagree. That's
we can. Okay. And it's not like I'm an absolutist. I mean, the world is a beautiful, colorful world. We don't live in a black and white world.
Right.
There are cases where, I mean, when things are absolutely 100% clear cut, and but
right,
those are so rare. Right. Let's see here. The Peanut Gallery tends to agree with you, Amanda.
Okay. That's not the Peanut Gallery. That's the most important person in the world.
Yes, she is. She absolutely is. Michael Schmidt says that John Gresham wrote a book called An Innocent Man, which dealt exactly with this topic. D. Clark, I believe it is, says everyone's entitled to their own opinion. We definitely need to have a form of capital punishment, because there are some really bad people out there. If there is no capital punishment, they will go wild. And again, I don't want to belabor this, and this is a Second Amendment show, but we've got supermax prisons for a reason. We have...
Yeah, I got an unpopular opinion on that, too. Okay. I think it only holds a certain... Here's my theory, and this one will send you guys to the moon, potentially. So let's assume that the supermax holds 100 people, whatever it is. Okay, it's 100 people. And so you're lined up and you're the next guy who's going in. And there's people who've got life sentences, and there's people who've gotten 1 year, 2 year, 5 year, whatever that is. And so a new guy's coming in. Guess what? Somebody's going out. And so either somebody is now getting parole because their time is up, or somebody on the other end needs to be plugged into the wall. That way we never have somebody, oh, we can't get you into jail yet because we don't have capacity. So your luck sucks if you are there and you're sitting there at number 99 waiting to see if somebody new needs to come in. It's don't do the crime. It needs to be motivational enough not to do the crime, because the horrific things that human beings do to one another because they don't feel any ramifications is completely unacceptable to me.
Well, let's bring this, and I hate to use this term, but let's bring this full circle. Let's circle back there, Jen. Let's come back to, I'm going back to my idealism. If they're too dangerous to have a weapon, why are they not in prison? I'm an idealist that way. If you're allowed to be out in society, you ought to be. Yeah,
once you've paid, I believe that once you've paid your debt to society, then all your stuff is granted again. That's it. You paid it, you're ready to go. You're good to go. Okay, learned your lesson. If you didn't learn your lesson, guess what? You shouldn't be free. But no, none of this, the judge gives you 25 years and then you get 17 years off for good behavior.
Yes.
No. Your behavior was egregious enough that you got 25 years. Guess what? Start counting. So that's just right. There you go. That's it. So what's the peanut gallery think on that?
Well, we've gotten our comments are exploding over here. We've gotten. I'm never ever going to get them all up, and my phone is starting to blow up as well. I think people want to.
Hey, this is an interactive show for a reason, kids.
It is. It absolutely is. John Lloyd Sharp says deterrence does not work. I agree with you, man. People who commit crimes are not deterred by any sentence because they don't believe they're going to get caught.
They're going to get caught.
Let alone, I mean, the death penalty, that doesn't matter. I'm not going to get caught. 30 years in prison, big deal. I'm not going to get caught.
Getting caught.
So,
yep.
Yeah. Let's see here.
What you got?
I'm just going to leave this up. I'm just going to leave this up because we got too damn many comments.
You're right.
I'm just going to leave it up.
Just keep going. You never pay your debt to the victim. You're right. You were right. You never make that back up. I mean, I'm watching Nikki Gozer deal with the stalker who killed her husband in front of her, and he was getting time off for good behavior in a Tennessee prison. And so the time that he was sentenced, it was getting shorter and shorter, and she was fighting for that. So her life is never going to be the same. She doesn't have Ben. She didn't have the family.
Stalking her from prison.
Right. She didn't get to have the family that she and Ben were planning. It changed her life, and she will never recover. Ben doesn't have the opportunity to recover. You're right.
Another good counterpoint, and I'll bring counterpoints up all day long. Robert Perserna says they'll never do it again after they're executed. Exactly.
Right.
And Susan Myers, Susan, keep commenting. Thank you.
She's a rock star. If punishment's no deterrent, if the sentence scares some of them straight, great, but it's not the purpose. But that's not the purpose of a harsh sentence. Okay, got it. It's punishment, not deterrent. Got it.
All right. I think we're getting pretty close to caught up. Let me get this last one in.
Okay.
Spartan 6, if a person can show they are truly reformed, then I have no problem with their rights being restored to them. But time usually
not always shows that it's not.
Yeah.
Exactly. So I mean, I'm fond of the like the 3 strikes rule too. So because there's people that something bad happens to them and it's a singular incident. But if you are back in jail a second time and a third time and a fourth time, and Well, there was just a woman, was it locally, that was found murdered because she was helping a couple out that had broke down, and the husband part of the couple had been arrested 36 times.
Holy smokes.
Chances are he's not going to get any better.
I'm thinking the DA that let him off on bail the 34th and 35th time probably needs to look for another job.
Right. So now this woman was one of the community, I don't know what you call them, and this isn't intended to be derogatory, but the community do-gooder, the person who is all heart and sees people and says, what can I do to help? How can I help? What can I do? That was what she did, and they killed her for it and took her car. Yeah. So let's move on to another topic. I got one more.
Okay, go.
So the St. Louis couple, Mark and Patty McCluskey, just got pardoned by the governor.
Yeah, Charlie and I talked about that briefly yesterday.
Okay, so the interesting part about it is I actually did my GRPC speech on Patty McCluskey and how I thought that is probably the most important story of 2020, 2021, because they are the couple that, you end up going into a battle with the training you've got, with the gear you've got, with the situation that you've got, and you're going to figure it out and work from there. What a lot of people don't know is that Patty McCluskey, Mark had gotten out all of his guns and loaded in them and spread them around the house so that they could be guarded at different doors, so that if somebody came to a door, because they knew that they had been told a week before that groups of people were coming. They had been marching in that community. They had been marching there, and they picked different sections of the community and used social media to say where they were coming. So they had been told the Friday before that they were coming to their neighborhood. They didn't come, and so then it was Sunday, I think, that they'd had a picnic, and then this is where everybody came. Mark says he knew the gate was locked because he locked it. That was the first thing. Patty said that Mark was in one area with the gun as the crowd came up, and she knew that he couldn't see another group of them coming, and so she's like, I have to get out there and try to stop it. So she goes past the gun that is loaded and has ammo in it to a gun that does not work. She knows it does not work and does not have ammo. And that's the gun she takes out to stand on the patio. And her answer for that is, I did that because I did not know how to use that gun. And so the interesting thing to me is that she was like a poster child for what happens if it's me? What do I do? How much training do I have? How much skill do I have? So many women went and got training afterwards so that they weren't Patty McCluskey. I think she drove that. So Mark's running for Senate, and so they pled guilty and turned over those two guns to the prosecutor. But now the governor, they pled to a misdemeanor and turned over those guns. So now the governor pardoning them, that isn't on the record, though those guns are gone. But he went and bought another gun, so they're all good. But I think it's an interesting story.
We're starting to get comments already again on this one. Patty should not.
I agree.
Best of all possible worlds, you're absolutely right. If she'd have had training, you're right. I wish she would have had training.
She said that she did go back, and she's gotten training since then. She's gone to the range. She's worked with handguns. She's not gone to long guns, but she knew she knew what she didn't know, and so there is that. She knew, though we didn't know, that gun didn't work, but she also had no gun handling skills at all. Her statement is, I didn't sign up to have to be the defender of the family. That's the husband's job. He does that. He takes out the trash. Those are his jobs. Those aren't my jobs, and I never expected to have to do it.
Exactly. Exactly. And you covered it on your show on Sunday very well. There are people, for example, where the lady does the cooking, the guy mows the grass is a common thing. You don't see there are times when the division of labor in the family is set out where you'll never see the lady out mowing the grass or the guy over the stove. That they
but in a different family, it is completely different.
Yeah.
Right. When you create a family unit, you decide that division of labor that suits your family unit, and so that was their division. I mean, I've never mowed a lawn in my life. That's never been my responsibility, and so that it just kind of is those kinds of divisions, and I get it, and I respect the fact that she then went back and got training when she realized that she didn't know what she didn't know, and In the Lathrop household, Paul is the primary defender. Susan lays down covering fire, and the four-legged kids are the alert system. That's how the division of labor works. Yeah.
I want to get this comment up. Speaking of St. Louis, did you see the meltdown Cori Bush had over that? Then a few days later said her life is so important, that's why she doles out thousands of dollars for security. You can't make this up. I gotta admit, I'm so out of the loop when it comes to modern social, who's supposed to be important. I don't know who Cori Bush is.
She's a congresswoman from that district. That's how. Okay. And right now she's camping out on the Capitol steps for something. I don't know. Something didn't make her happy, and so they've been camping there. Whatever that was, I saw her on the news.
All right, and then John, man, you need to get back out to the range. I'm telling you, dude.
Hey! I'm telling you, there's a lot of women that outshoot men. Because you want to know why? Because we take instruction. You guys think that you know how to ride a motorcycle, run a chainsaw, drive a stick shift, all because you were born that way.
Right.
So,
tell you what, I can back a truck up better than my wife can, though.
Oh yeah, that isn't a skill I've got.
Thank you, Susan, for continuing to comment. Don't ever quit. Being from Missouri, I'm glad the governor went ahead and did the pardon, seeing that other Missourians should never be subjected to what they were. Castle Doctrine. Amen.
Yep, exactly.
All right.
Exactly.
Kevin Sona says, same thing with us, Paul. It's not that we don't think our wives can do it. It's our responsibility first. It's the same reason I sleep closest to the door. Okay, I'll remember that next time you're tent camping in my vicinity, Kevin. So
he's closest to the door. No, my husband always sleeps closest to the door. I figure that way, if we're camping, that way the bears can eat him and I can run.
There you go. Well,
that's part of the marital agreement.
It just so happens that with the layout of our house, I sleep closest to the door of the bedroom because that's the door that's got an open shot to the front door, open line of sight.
There you go.
So,
yep.
All right, and she's absolutely right on this one. Again, Susan comments she shoots better one-handed, though. She does.
Yep.
So, all right. I want to get this one in quick.
Okay.
Because we're 4 minutes over the standard show. So, rumor has it Mexico is trying to sue the USA and blaming us for their failure on so-called gun violence. You know what?
Right.
I want to sue the state of the state, meaning the country of Mexico, for all the violence MS-13 is doing up here. I want the government of Mexico to pay the state of Texas and the state of California for all the damage MS-13 is doing. I am just sick of this, and I want the Brady campaign to be liable for half the damages.
I'm with you.
Sorry.
No, don't be sorry, because it's truly true. And then, but I think that what happened is Mexico's piled on because Ohio just piled on because Bushmaster just tried to negotiate the $33 million. And so the PLCAA is at risk. It's in jeopardy. And that's where everybody sees blood in the water, and they're taking after it.
So yeah, I absolutely want, if there's an attorney out there that will take this up pro bono, I'm not kidding. I want to sue Mexico on behalf of the United States for all the damage, the drugs coming across the border, and the gangs that are running the drugs.
Mm-hmm.
I've got a sister that's an addict. That gives me standing. I want billions from the state of Mexico, and I'll give you 98% of what you collect. Yeah, I know. Michael, I get it.
Yell, Paul, yell. Breathe, Paul, breathe.
Oh.
Go, Paul, go.
Brady campaign needs to be imprisoned for this. They don't have standing.
The thing is pay attention, folks, because this is, you do know that the attack against the NRA, just switching completely topics because Brady campaign comes into this, the attack against the NRA for the New York State, that if they disband the NRA in New York, all of the funds that the NRA has, everything, even the value of the assets from the NRA museum, from their buildings, all of that stuff, all of those assets would then go to like organizations that are not-for-profits that function in the state of New York, because that's where it's at. So that would mean that the Brady campaign, Giffords Foundation, all of those will go in and file that they are gun safety programs, just like the NRA is a gun safety program. And so they should get their share of that. So how much frosting is on your cupcake when you find out that the money that you paid into the NRA goes to Sarah Brady and the Brady campaign?
Mm-hmm.
That's what that fight is about right now.
All right. Well, folks, and I thought we started kicking off comments before with the
with our first one.
We're well over 100 comments now, and they just keep flying in.
Keep going, folks. Keep going. We'll go back and read them.
Well, I'm just gonna pop a few of them in rapid fire here.
I'm trying to type fast.
Yeah.
Safe travels, Kevin. Safe travels.
Yes, absolutely. Get a couple in from Spartan 6. Ed Calderon, who is a member of the Mexican Special Police Forces, was interviewed by Sean Ryan, and he talked about this very thing. Cartels are too powerful. And Ed has stated the cartels will try to control Southwest United States.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. We're seeing it.
All right.
We are seeing it.
We're now 38 minutes into a 30-minute
Who's
show.
counting?
So before we're an hour and 38 minutes in, because I know we could get there. I know we could easily get there. I think we're just going to go ahead and set this one aside. Thank you, Amanda. Folks, the week isn't over. Tomorrow, there is a national, the Second Amendment of the United States Constitution covers us all. But what if your state has a Second Amendment? Which is better, federal or state? We'll be talking with Alex Uli about that one tomorrow. Come join us 5 p.m. Central Time. Thanks for watching, everybody.